Hey everybody, Justin here. Welcome to the June 2023 Akashic Forecast, a forecast in which I open the Akashic record for us all who are watching to learn what messages, support, themes are available to us in the energetic field, in the Akashic field in June. And this month is a really beautiful month with some really interesting supportive energies. So stay tuned for the full report in which I will explain all, and also what are the Akashic records. See you then. Hey, welcome to the June 2023 full report from the Akashic field. Again, my name is Justin. For those of you who don't know what the Akashic records are, very briefly I will say they are the universal imprint of everything that has ever happened, including everything internal to us, all thoughts, feelings, emotions, wishes, desires, hopes, fears, as well as everything external to us, every event that happens in form. It is the nature of consciousness to record its own activity, to record its forms, if you will. And this practice brings us into that memory, into that imprint, in which we can ask questions, get guidance, support. I bring individuals into the Akashic field for their specific lives and all kinds of questions that one might want to have answers for one's specific life and situations. But in this video, what I do every month is I open up the Akashic record for everybody watching, as I said earlier, to help us get any guidance, support, messages for the month ahead. This is a global, encompassing report for all of us. So the first theme in June has to do with coming down to friendly reality out of fantasy. For those of us who are ready, who no longer need these fantasies of happiness, what I'm hearing from the records is that moving into June, out of May into June, we are having some reckonings. It's a bit like reality has come along to open the tire valves on our fantasies, and the tires are slowly deflating, and we are sinking down into reality, into here and now, into our real life, our real selves. The theme in June is about unpacking some of this and discovering the friendly reality that has always been waiting here. And the records want to say a few words about fantasy and reality and the role of fantasy in our path, because it does have a role to play. On a helpful, friendly end, fantasy has to do with feeling who we are at our best. Our fantasy idea of ourselves is about feeling our qualities that we admire, that we love, and giving them a bit of a boost. It's a bit like watching movies, listening to favorite songs that help us feel the strength of a hero or a singer. This is what our fantasies do. They can heal or soothe, really soothe a hurt part of us that doesn't feel strong, that doesn't feel it can do this life, that feels maybe estranged from the real world we're in, or has come to believe that it isn't right. There's something wrong with me in this reality, or reality isn't safe. And so fantasy is used to soothe some of that. It's a sort of escape. And this has its place. However, it can get out of hand. And we live in a culture that really feeds wish fulfillment, that really feeds fantasizing about who we are or what makes us happy. And so they want us to be able to be discerning about what is a fantasy of happiness and what really makes us happy. And June's got a lot of energy in it to support discovering what is it that actually makes us happy. And one of the big themes or differences here has to do with including others. So generally, a fantasy about what will make us happy is all about me. I am the star of this fantasy, and it's all about me fulfilling that wish. It could be as simple as owning this incredible red car. It's all about me having that wonderful drive. Again, there's that metaphor with the tires they gave earlier, so they're going back to the car. Or if you are an artist, it could be a fantasy around the kind of success you have as an artist or the role you play in the ecosystem of the art world as like a shining star. And we look to examples in our industries of those folks who have fulfilled that fantasy, and we go, oh, I wish I could do that. This is a very common thing that happens in our culture. There's a huge interest in fame and becoming viral and all of this. It's a part of that psychological mechanism, the psychological machine that we pursue these things. And so, like I was saying earlier, that they want to reiterate that there is an intelligence to the fantasy. There is an intuition. I want to remember how I really am, who I really am. And so I turn to fulfilling this fantasy of myself to do that. And for others, it might be, like I was saying earlier, a fantasy around success. For others, it could be a fantasy around a relationship idea that is ideal. And pursuing this ideal is, again, that fantasy of what will make me happy. Again, fantasies really only serve me. They have me at the center. It's about me and my happiness. And one of the features of real happiness, of what makes us really happy, is that the story starts to include more people. That the desires and needs of others start to come into that picture. The recent debt ceiling negotiation, if you're in the United States and follow anything happening in national politics, national government, there was an important, essentially budget negotiation that happened in the US government, and Biden and the president and McCarthy, the House Speaker, worked out a negotiated basically a budget so that the country could continue to operate and not default on its debt, essentially, causing economic havoc. And they both started with fantasies about what this country could be, and through including the other, came to a negotiated plan that people could vote on and eventually pass. So June has this energy to it that when we start helping others get more of what they need, care for what they need, care about what they desire, along with our own, the more we enter into real happiness. So that's one of the big trademarks of real happiness. June, for those of us who are ready, as I was saying earlier, will again kind of deflate the tires on our fantasies and will guide us toward doing this anyway. One example is my partner and I are trying to move to Providence, Rhode Island. We live in the southern part of Rhode Island near the ocean. And we are trying to move toward the city for more community, and Rick's going to school and all of that. And we've had a really hard time finding a place. It's been a surprisingly difficult thing, even with all the records that have been supporting us. And one thing we've discovered is that when I'm searching, I'm thinking more about what I want. When he's searching, he's thinking more about what he wants. And we're doing the opposite. I'm only caring about the other one's needs, and so on. And the search ends up not working out terribly well. So we pivoted recently after consulting the records very, very deeply, and learned that when we when we really take into account the need of the other and really care about it and look for places that serve, we will find. So we ended up finding a lot more options that worked for us once we started to do that. And that meant looking outside of the city more, seeing places that are close to nature, and boom, so many options opened up. So that's just one example of what it means to enter into real happiness. Caring for others and what they want and need will take you to your real happiness. The other thing happening in June is that we are going to enjoy the fruits of labor. This is a month where things we've been working on for a long time are going to start to fruit, come into action, come into manifest completion, or make a big turning point. So there's a lot to celebrate in June. For those of you who celebrate Pride, this will be an opportunity to do some of that. So enjoy all that hard work that is now giving you an awesome surf on a wave. At the same time, there are going to be setbacks in June. There's going to be the celebrations and the setbacks. And they want to give a few tips on weathering the up and the down. So the first has to do with accessing the ground of ourselves, the constant ground. There is a tender and constant ground of being that is always a part of every moment. It is in a way you. It is the purest you. And accessing this on a regular basis, feeling into this, you might even say background if this is less apparent for you, but the tender and constant background or ground, feeling into this, resting into this is vital for weathering the triumphs and the tragedies, the ups and the downs, the celebrations and the setbacks. So take some time this month to consistently return to the tender ground or tender background of every moment, which is always the same. It is constant and never going away. Even in dreamless sleep, it is there. So quiet time, walks, journaling, meditation, all of this really supports feeling balanced, regulated. This tender ground, it is not unfeeling. It is tender. It is a place in which we can feel into what's really going on for us, and they really want to emphasize that tenderness. That tenderness is here to listen. This tenderness in us. It is here to not just feel, but listen to those places that might be really upset or activated or triggered by a setback or even a success. So listening to those parts of us, really helpful. What are the needs of these parts? What are they believing? What is their story? How can we help those needs get met? Super helpful to do in that tender ground, in that tender space. It doesn't come from the mind. It's not a thing that we puzzle over. It's down in our depths, in what some might call the heart, or our softer side, our soft body, or as the records are saying, the tender ground. The other last theme is about new friends. So in June, we're going to be meeting new members of our soul family. Our sometimes soul pod is a phrase that they give sometimes. These are fellow travelers on our journey in this life who are like-minded and care about the things we care about and are here to help us walk our paths, go our paths, live in our real happiness. And as I said, there's Pride this month, but there's just plenty of wonderful weather if you're in the Northern Hemisphere to go out and enjoy. If you get any invitations to anything, go. You will be meeting more of your soul family, soul pod. And it's important that we know these people and that we grow these relationships because as they've been saying in this whole reading and this whole download, this whole forecast. Other people are in fact key to our happiness, especially those who we are going to be relying on and caring for, who are going to be relying on us, that are in our soul family. Soul family, again, if you don't know what that is, are folks that are not necessarily in our biological family, although they could be. They are friends, colleagues, neighbors, with whom we feel a very strong harmony, resonance, and we feel in our heart we want to support these people, we want to care for these people, and that they want to care for us, especially for what we deeply want and deeply care about. So, soul family, get out there, meet each other, and say yes to invitations. All right, that is the report for June 2023. If you want to know more about what I do, head to my website, justinandersontaylor.com. I am moving and might not have a ton of availability for all of the one-on-ones, but I do have some. So go ahead and reach out if you would like to book a session. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.